welcome Mr. Ed O'Brien. Thank you very much. Thank you, first of all, very much for coming along.
I like being amongst young musicians.
Great.
It's a good vibe. So
Great.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
So, can you take us back to the journey from being schoolmates and then to getting the band signed?
One of the really important things that we did was we dreamt it all up. We said, what we're going to do is when we get the deal, we're going to buy a van, and we're going to tour, because that's the way we build it up, because our favourite bands did. And then we would say, and then when we've got enough money, we'll buy our own studio, and it all happened. And it's interesting because I've been really interested in the science of the mind. Positive thinking. You know what they do in a lot of with athletes as well. Yeah. That you run that race before you run it, and you run it emotionally. And I obviously don't know, but I really subscribe to this. Like, daydreaming is great. We were massively 89, so Doolittle, the Pixies record had come out, and that's a big record for us, massive record for us. What's the template there? Quiet verses, loud choruses, and that's what we started doing. What's the big song that breaks that summer? Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana. What's their template? Quiet verse, loud chorus. Where did they get it from? They got it from the Pixies. That was a complete... When we heard that, it was like, that's the Pixies. So what then happens, record companies like, the majors like, oh, we want some of this, which is a traditional thing. And we were making the right sound at the right time. And, there you go.
So when you guys are writing, if you can sort of give us a heads up about the way you approach it.
It's, Tom's very much the main songwriter. But I think what we like is the fact that everybody brings something. No one writes your own part. If you don't have a part, you don't play. That kind of thing. There's no sort of, there's no charity, which at times can be a little bit kind of, but it keeps you on your toes. Because Tom writes all the lyrics, he sings them, he's the main songwriter, but it's very much, it goes through the filter. I think it slightly changes, partly because of limitations. I think the band, we do have limitations, but I think those limitations are a strength.
It's a very difficult question, obviously, for any guitar player to say, well, what is your favourite guitar? But do you have a favourite? Is there one that a go-to? Is it a Strat?
I do now. I've got a Strat that I've been developing with Fender. So the first 3 records are Rickenbacker and Strat. And then, flush with a little bit of success, I bought a 335, a lovely old 335, and I've even got a Les Paul and stuff like that. But I think really what I've been trying to get back to is that idea of one guitar that you know really well. And I've got a guitar that I'm developing with Fender. It's a Strat, but it's also got a sustainer. I've been using a sustainer for years. I'm really excited to see what the likes of some of you guys would do with it.
Any successful band or artist, whatever you want to call them, the ones that are sensible or get good advice usually end up having limited companies. I have one myself, It makes good fiscal sense, and So has that been useful to you, and has that focused you as well?
That is so important. Elvis used to call it taking care of business, TCOB. You have to. I've seen so many bands come unstuck. That means you get the best lawyer, and you can defer payment. Like our first contract we had was the management contract. We went to John Kennedy in 1920, who was the best lawyer at the time. We deferred payment until we signed a record deal. All these things. You get the best counsel, and you take care of business. No shortcuts.
Like, so you started with a plan, like back in the early 90s. If it was now 2016 and Radiohead was starting out again, would you still have the plan of getting the van and doing the tour?
Yeah, I think so. I think
same deal.
Getting the van was good. It's meant that we saved money on renting. We didn't have to rent a van all the time, but we'd signed. And we had an agent. We weren't getting a van and we didn't have any gigs. We were okay. This is our intention. This is what we want to do. I know that looking back, we were so committed. When you utterly love something, there's no question whether you're committed or not.
I just wondered how you go through the process of recreating those sounds live? Because I imagine you're responsible for a lot of the pretty dynamic stuff in the soundscapes you create.
Pedals,
Lots of
and more pedals. On one of the tracks on Moonshaped Pool, it was very, very orchestral. And so one of the things that I have to do is my guitar line and the thing that I'm playing and the sound that I'm playing is trying to play that line. But it turns out, what's fun about it is that it's more like a blues riff. It's like me blues riffing, which is, we've never sort of done that in Radiohead. And that's kind of fun. And so it's also, when you do stuff live, you've got to distill it to its core constituents.
Okay, thank you.
And it's been a real pleasure talking to you. And thank you very, very much for coming along.
You're capable of extraordinary things. Be great, because you can be great. Okay, but that involves work, focus, and and feeling it through. But you can be great. So good luck.
I really enjoyed it. I think he was a great guy. He had a lot of insightful stuff to say. Yeah, it was interesting hearing from one of your heroes what to do, how to approach certain things and stuff like that. It was really good. Dad probably introduced me to them when I was 8, 9, I guess. Listened to I think the Bends was the first one I heard. And yeah, been a long time fan. He was very heavy on just how to feel like, and while playing and making sure everything feels right for you and what you're playing. So I guess that's the main thing, as opposed to kind of technique. And this kind of thing is just more about the more physical side of actually doing it.